welcome to our farm again. This is a little different setup of what I'm going to do. Obviously we've made our videos on the rabbit lodge. Now I'm going to kind of go over how I built the rabbit lodge, what I did, how I came to the design, why we did what we did, and just straight up kind of showing you how we built it in the best way I can possibly explain it. I won't say I'm a professional carpenter by any means. However, I would say I'm a creative individual. I like to make things my own. I like to dig into stuff, figure things out, learn stuff. Many times I learned making some really awkward things, but learning along the way, we've built some amazing things here already on this farm, and I want things to look nice, also to become something of my own. So, you know, I researched rabbit hutches, looked into them, and this is what I came up with. So every time I come up with a project or an idea that I want to do, I try to look for just kind of look for opportunities to be able to teach my children something new, teach them something about it, help us to bond, even learn something myself in the process. So I actually designed this project, came up with some prints myself. So being able to model this, design it, allowed me to kind of just look into it a little deeper, make sure I didn't see anything that would be faulty, anything I could see that, hey, this might be a problem. And not only that, it helps my wife to visualize it. I have all these ideas and I can talk about them, but when my wife sees them, it helps her to really visualize it. I was able to give my kids some prints, teach them how to read it, and they're able to kind of just be guided along the way without me telling them do this, do that. They're able to kind of look at it, visualize it themselves, and figure things out, which really created a great opportunity for them as well. If you're working on this yourself, you really could go ahead and make whatever size you want. As far as, you know, living space, we want them to be comfortable, and we wanted them to, since they're living in this thing a good chunk of the time, we wanted them to be able to be comfortable and to really enjoy what they had. So we went with 30 by 30 by 18 tall. So originally when I did this, I had this thing by like 24 by 24 by 18 tall. My wife was like, no, we need to have it larger. So I was like, all right, love, let's do it. So started off with these doors. Obviously we have our doors here to go about 16 inches wide by 15 inches right here lengthwise tall. So you got your 1.5 inches. You have your 19-inch tall doors. Come on inside. So this is their lodge. Now we have these little tiles. I picked these up. These are 50 cents. Find the cracked ones. I got Lowe's. They'll tend to give you some good options there. I don't have any screen on the top. As you can see, it's pretty tall, and it wasn't really necessary to put screen up here. Nothing's getting in on the outside. Reason for that, if you can look, I ended up putting some screen mesh along the top here between the trusses here, so that we did have no issues with anything getting in. But having this lock mechanism, I actually use these screws I use for screwing in my roof panels, and that's actually this little washer behind it. It actually makes it really nice for this. It's nice and secure, and it makes it nice and that's a 2x4 I just cut, and I could just lock it in place. Cut that in, do that, and double lock, with the hook. So it makes it really nice. So, and then we'll have their J feeder right here. We have this. We're going to get some hay feeders because we got too much hay falling out. So Ange and I are actually in the process of getting some hay feeders. So here's the funny story about this project. The hardware cloth. Hardware cloth is literally sold out almost everywhere. It's hard to find. I'm not sure if where you are at it wasn't, but for us it was very hard to come by. So we went half by half. But the best, what we use, if you can look, this is very strong and sturdy. And what this is this right here it's actually perfect size, because this is where Angela got her net dimensions. She had 30 by 13 cage rabbit cages. What I did was I cut those cages up, and I used those cages here. I stapled them on the walls there to pretty much fill in what we had going on. So that's how I was able to do that, and it worked out great. It was a lot stronger. It was perfect for the top. We were able to do the top. I mean, you can see we have cages right here. It just worked. It's just perfect. Nothing's getting into that, and that's absolutely fantastic. So it worked out with perfect size. We just used a little disc cutter and we cut down the special pieces we need down to custom size. So we built this with 2x4 legs at 6 foot 1.5 inches tall. Now to give that 30 by 30 by 18 height, again, you can make it your way, or you can, if you want to see how I did it, it was 4 foot 3 3/4 the top. You cut your 4 pieces by 6 foot 1.5 for the legs, and I built these little frames here. You can see these little frames, and we actually built these frames and when we built them on the ground, put the screens on them prior to putting them on the legs. And once we marked our spots, we went ahead and raised them up to about 1 foot 5 3/4 for the first level. And then we have 4 foot 3 3/4 for the next level. And then that very top frame was actually at the 6 foot 1.5. And those frames were about 9 foot 7 inches long by 5 foot 1 3/4. Had 2 full pieces coming down through here when we had these intermediate pieces right here. We ended up screwing these from the inside, and we ended up, pocket screwing these on the inside there. Glorious, glorious compost maker. So we want to have somewhere where there's plenty of shade. Right now I got sun's right here with those trees, so it kind of keeps the shade on this side during the afternoon, and then we have the shade right here. So I mean, having something I can move around really is great, just because we're in a new place. We don't want anything solid like, hey, this is where we want to have it right now. We want to have something we can move, and something we can say, hey, you know what, as we kind of uncover the potential of our land and we discover where we want things, then we can go ahead and say, yeah, this is where we want to keep stuff. This is the best way to do it. For now, I think it turned out pretty good. So I'll probably
Where are you going? Bye, dude. Bye, Logan.
So one of the things we like about the lodge is that it gives us the benefit of having all of our breeder rabbits in one centralized location. You get ample cage space for each rabbit. We use cedar. That was our decision. We'd prefer to stay away from treated, just because of, honestly, personally, I don't want the rabbits chewing on it. I don't want them it's for a couple of personal reasons. We just did not want to go treated, but we went with cedar, and you get what you pay for, pretty much. So we definitely invested in it to get the best that we could for our rabbits, the best health that they could have, and just for their overall. One of the rabbits is yawning. To make a nice little wall and give them some separation, we use these cedar boards here. And I bought some 10-foot cedar boards. I used 2 decking boards, really just cedar, 1x decking cedar boards, and 10-foot long. And we cut them. I think, did we even have to cut them? I want to say no. I don't recall. Maybe we did cut. I think, yes, we did. We did cut these down. I remember that now. Yeah, we did cut those down. So stack that up there, and you can see, they're not going to be jumping over that. But as you can see, the frame, how this works, you can see that those inside frames. So here's that 2x4, that top 2x4 frame we had. So we built the roof very differently, and I show that in one of my footages and how we built that. For the roof, we had 3 10-foot pieces that we used for the long way. One for center, one for the right, one for the ends and the middle. And we ended up, obviously going to the width. We were able to literally just slide this in right here. We were able to take that roof, and I actually have a video footage of me and the kids putting it on, but we actually built this on the ground to make it real easy. We put this decking board on here. I cut this off, which was so cool because I cut this slant off, just based on what that dimension was. And we cut that slant off, did our little mark, and we were able to take that piece I cut off there, cut that in half, and it ended up working perfectly to fill in these 2 pieces there. And we ended up, obviously your regular white panels to keep the heat off. Rabbits are known for heat stroke, so we wanted to keep them nice and cool. And as you can see, we have a lot of airflow. there's definitely no trap or stuffiness. They definitely get a lot of airflow here, and we have these one on the top for that to sit on. You can see I bought 4 of these. They're 10-foot pieces, but they're pine, and I bought these 1 by, you know, pretty much you can do whatever you want, whatever kind of cheap pine. These are like $1, $1 really, and I bought 4 of those. It was just something I could hold. I could screw into the you know, the trusses here, and then I was able to go ahead and just screw them down and put them right in place, and that turned out really well. So we have the 4 bottom here for extra support. I wanted extra stability. Just reason why is because depending how you make it, if you have it, you know, this is over 8 feet wide, you're gonna want some extra support. So we put those extra support 2x4s there to keep the extra support. You don't want sag, so same thing right there. And there's definitely some options you can think about, but we don't want sag. So if you build it smaller, you shouldn't need that. If you I'd say under 6 feet, you wouldn't need those supports, but I was just making sure she was really solid. One thing I'm going to make an update on, we are going to go into this and probably put some 2x4s. I'm going to take a 2x4 or a 1 by maybe even 1 to bring it up a little bit higher, and then bring this up a little higher so it's like a perfect straight. Right now I had a sag and I thought it'd be good, but it's actually catching. We're going to build some hay feeders so that the hay don't catch up and build a dam, because then it comes out here. Now it's not getting anybody underneath, which is great. My wife put these little extra pieces in there just for some shade, to keep it nice and dark as much as possible. Oh, little bunnies. Little bunnies. Let's see if we can get these guys. Little bunnies. Little loppies. So, but yeah, getting that nice little slant right there really brings it in. Easy to get, easy to manage, easy to pull down. Keeps the, you know, we try to keep the wood clean as much as possible. Obviously, like I said, rabbits, they get messy, and you want to have something that's easily cleanable. So there it is. That is the rabbit lodge. It's very simple and basic. It did take me some time to build it, just because I was trying to really take some time to show my kids a few things. Ended up being a lot of fun. It really was. Ooh, there you go. Ended up being a lot of fun. We learned a lot of stuff in the process. So because of the deaths we had this year, we have like a lot of barn owls around here. In fact, we got some really cute baby barn owls that come out every night. My son loves to watch them. And, you know, we look at that as a blessing. We don't want them getting our rabbits, of course, but they do keep the moles and the mice off our garden. We have had no rodents in our garden. So we actually had one rabbit one time tried to be brave and cross that divide, and he was found the next morning. It wasn't our rabbit, it was a wild rabbit. I should have clarified, but he was found the next morning, the remnants of him. So it does our job. I hope this was helpful. It's like I said, I try to keep it simple. You can modify this to how you want it. I made it big. I can pull it where I need to pull it. She handles what she needs to handle. She gives me compost. We have a couple modifications we're gonna make to it. And as always, per farm, your farm, you may make some different modifications based on what you have. I mean, this works well for us. We'll make a few little touch-ups here and there. One of the things I'm gonna do is we're gonna have an automatic water. That stuff, the parts for that are coming. Angela, if you haven't bought those yet. Hope this was a blessing to you guys and enjoyable. Make someone smile today. God bless, and we'll see you right back here on the next adventure. Take care.